I was thinking the other day that so many videos here on my channel, but also from other creators, are like, hey, you want to start a YouTube channel? Here's what you do. Hey, 5 things to grow your YouTube channel. But you know what nobody's talking about? It's like the process of filming, scheduling, editing, all of the things, a YouTube video. The process that it takes to go from the ideas in my head to the video is on the platform, So I thought I would bring you behind the scenes a little bit, show you what that process is. For me, it's probably different for everybody, and literally show you step by step how we get YouTube videos out on the internet, how they go from idea to this video you're seeing now. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. I am pumped that you are here. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jessica. You should really hit subscribe. I'm really fun. I'm really cool. Let's hang out together, okay? In my process of taking a video from idea in my noggin to video you guys see on the platform is a 6-step process. So I'm going to walk you through those 6 steps in order and show you what I do in each one of the steps. Step number 1 is to actually have the idea. Now, I do this in a little bit of a different way. So step number 1 for me is kind of multifaceted, if you will. 1, I have a note on my phone, in my Apple Notes situation, that is literally just a running idea of YouTube video ideas that I get at any moment. Because if I don't do that, I forget about the idea. So if I'm driving or I'm in the shower or whatever, I will definitely utilize voice to text and get that puppy on a note because I have to have somewhere to dump these ideas that isn't dependent on me getting home to put it somewhere because I will not remember by the time I get home. So first and foremost for me is just coming up with the ideas. Generally, they are things that I think of, and then I will take it a little step further, which is the part next. Or it is, doing some research in my niche and seeing if there is an idea that comes from that. So first and foremost is really figuring out the idea behind the video. What is the topic going to be? What kind of things am I going to talk about? What might the title be? The idea in general behind the video. And about once every 2 weeks, I will then go into ClickUp and I will go to my calendar view and I will put these ideas on the calendar. So if I'm doing research or I've just thought of something and I want to put it here, I will find a place to put this and I will create a task and there we go. So if I know, there's going to be a video here, I may not put the exact title of the video, but I'm going to put the general idea. So starting a podcast, that's likely not going to be the title of the video, but it's going to be the general idea I want to go for. So I will kind of dump in here, and then in phase 2, I will fine tune any kind of title or do some more research or whatever. So first and foremost, first little phase for me is to get an idea in my head, either do some research on YouTube to, come up with that idea, or actually just think of it as I'm, living life and put it on the calendar so I know what videos are generally going live when. Second step to my video process is to actually script and fine-tune the video idea. So a lot of times I will just dump things, like I said, in this calendar view. Starting a podcast, that's not what I'm going to call the video. That's just, I know that's the idea in my head, okay? So in step 2, I take each of these video ideas and really fine tune them and script them, bullet point them, get the title ready, all of that stuff. And if you're doing this right, you need to do a little bit of research in this phase as well. So I know I want to talk about starting a podcast. That could be really good for content creators. I know a lot of video creators also want to start a podcast. Blah, 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 what equipment do you need, la, 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 right? So in this second step, I really need to figure out what that title is going to be and what the bullet points are going to be that I'm going to cover in the video. And if there's a general idea of the structure of the video beyond just what I'm talking about, if I wanted to have a little bit of a different structure than some of my normal videos, or if I wanted to tell a story a little bit differently, I will make all of that happen in this step. Now, as far as when I do this step, it really just depends. Sometimes I do it the day before I film videos. Sometimes I will be really ahead and I do it as I'm putting the ideas in the calendar. It really just depends on what time I have and what I've got going on that week or every 2 weeks or whatever. This process kind of goes a little bit like this. I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to kind of start to do some fine tuning on my keywords. So if I want to say how to start a podcast, and like maybe that's the keyword I want to go after, first of all, I want to make sure that it's a keyword I can actually rank for, and that it is what I want to go after. And likely this is what I want to do for me. I want to go after how to start a podcast. It has 60,000 searches a month. I can likely rank in that arena. Maybe not. It kind of depends, who's there, but that is likely what I want to do. And my strategy for titling is that I do the keyword up front most of the time. So I do play around with this, but most of the time keyword up front, and then I add a little sex appeal. Okay. So what is the sex appeal going to be? So let's see, how to start a podcast. And I go ahead and put the exact title of the video here because of a couple different reasons. One, I don't want to waste my research and then forget what the title was going to be. Two, sometimes my team uploads my videos for me and they can just copy and paste the title straight out of this card and I don't have to do that on the upload. So how to start a podcast, and then I'm going to add a little sex appeal. You have 95 or 100 characters in that title situation, and your title has like a two-pronged job. First prong is to get you found in search, but second prong is to get people to click on it. So how to start a podcast. So for this one, I think I want to do something like how to start a podcast, the easiest way to start a podcast for beginners. So for me, that second part also, like, it reiterates the keyword, but it also adds a little bit of like, oh, if I'm going to show up against these other people who are talking about how to start a podcast, and I'm literally like the easiest way to start a podcast for beginners, like, awesome. And I'm adding that to the title because that is my approach. I am not someone who's like, you have to go buy the $500 Rodecaster Pro, which I now own if you've watched my previous videos and I love. But you don't have to do that to start a podcast. You don't need that. You don't need a fancy mic. You need a mic that works, and you need to, submit things to Apple and Spotify. So basically, this is true for me because that is what I want to stick to, is the easiest way to start a podcast for beginners. And that is going to be the title. So in this step 2, this is where I really fine tune everything. Then I'm going to come through here and add bullet points that I want to make sure that I talk about. So if I want to talk about the equipment, I want to make sure I talk about a mic, editing software, and that's really all in the equipment arena. And then I want to talk about editing it, having an intro and an outro, and then submitting it and getting it on the platform. So I will just bullet point everything I want to talk about in here, and then I'm done for now. Like, that is phase 2 or step 2 for me. I don't script my videos. I've talked about this before, but I'll say it again just in case you need to hear it. I do not script my videos word for word. I actually think that makes my videos specifically, but probably everybody's, worse, because you're just kind of like reading what you think people want to hear, and there's no like inflection or personality going into it. So I like to bullet point, and that is what I do in phase 2. So step 2, phase 2, whatever we're talking about here, after coming up with the idea, is to then fine tune the idea, script it, and really get everything ready for the filming process. And then, I feel like the next step is kind of obvious. And then I film. Da, 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 da. I'm literally doing this right now, right? Like, all I do then is I know the day I'm going to film. I know what videos I'm going to film based on what I already have planned out. And I know what I'm going to talk about in each video because I've already done that in step 2. So my camera is usually always set up right here where I want it. Sometimes I do need to move it around. Sometimes I want to sit on my desk or like whatever. I get everything ready. I get myself ready, my face and all that jazz, and then I sit down and I film. And I have my notes for the video over here on the left on my computer. And so if I need to look over there and, remember what I was going to say, or like remind myself of what the bullet points are, I will take like a clean break in filming and I will look over there. For me, and I think for you too, for most people, you need to make filming as easy as possible. Even if you're vlogging or whatever the scenario is, filming needs to be as easy as it possibly can be, because if not, you're going to put it off or you're going to not do it. And that's not the point here. The point here is to get these videos filmed, not just plan them out. So if you have to drag out a big old camera on a big old tripod with big old lights and big old mics and like whatever else, every single time you have to film, you're going to get like, ugh, I hate doing this. So find a way to set up your space in a way where you don't have to do a lot of moving around or things that require you to, sweat to death the morning that you're filming. So right now, my camera is just stationary. You've seen in this video, I'm not really moving around a lot in this video. I'm going to try and incorporate B-roll in my screen recording, but I'm not really moving around a ton. And that's because my tripod is behind my desk from another video I filmed, and I didn't want to move it. I will likely move it for the next one I film, but it is what it is. So this is one of the reasons that I think a lot of YouTubers get studios or, whatever the scenario is, because it's just way easier to leave everything set up and not have to move and fuss with things as you're filming. So step 3 is I film. And in step 3, not only do I film, but I also go ahead and get what I need for the thumbnail. Okay. So before or after every video I film, I will purposefully get some shots for the thumbnail. I think the worst thing you can do is just rely on the fact that you can grab something good out of the video. 1, that's super monotonous and time consuming, but 2, odds are you're going to end up looking like this in your thumbnail because like the way we talk and whatever, we weren't aware that that's what we were trying to do, and almost always like it ends up bad. For me personally, what works the best for me is timers, like self-timers on cameras, timers on my phone, even the little clicky thing, which I bought one of those for my phone and I lost it. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in this mess. But all of those things are still too much for me. They're still a little too time consuming and like not easy enough. So what I do is I will hit record either before or after the recording clip that I'm actually filming in. I will make poses that are relevant to what I'm talking about on the video. So in this thumbnail, I might pull my mic into screen and maybe even have like the Apple symbol over here. Like maybe that's what I'm thinking for my thumbnail. So in the thumbnail, I would hit record and literally I'm going to do something like this, like and I'm going to make all these faces, and it's on a video file. Let me push that back down. So it's on a video file. And what that means is I have, obviously, my editing app. I use Final Cut Pro. But also I have a few other apps where I can just open the video file and export those like stills. Like I pause it where I want to export a photo, and I can export that to as like a JPEG. And then from there, I have that available as we get into the thumbnail phase, which I'll talk about in a minute. So during the filming phase, I also go ahead and get shots for the thumbnail. Most people are going to do this at the same time as they film because you want the same hair and the same shirt and the same whatever, right? But I have seen people say that they will take photos or they use the self-timer, and for me, that's too much work. So I go ahead and just hit film again and record an actual video clip with what I think will make sense for the thumbnail, okay? Step 4, not 8, step 4 in this process is to edit this bad boy. Now, actually, before I show you my editing process and what that looks like for me, we do have a sponsor on today's video, and that is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators just like myself and you, so you can explore new skills, deepen your love for all of those passions you have, and get lost in creativity. And I felt like this was a great time to talk about Skillshare because as we talk about editing, that is something you can learn in a massive way on Skillshare. So what I recommend is you go to Skillshare and you search for whatever platform you want to learn to edit on. If you are someone who wants to, go ahead and make the dive into Final Cut Pro, do a search for that. You can take Ali Abdal's class called Video Editing with Final Cut Pro X from beginner to YouTuber and literally learn everything you need to know about Final Cut Pro. Or let's say you want to learn to use DaVinci Resolve, which is another awesome editing platform. You can just type in DaVinci Resolve and you can take this class that's literally a complete beginner's guide to DaVinci Resolve. So if you're looking to, hone in on your editing skills or really any of your skills as a YouTuber, Skillshare is a great place to start because it's literally curated specifically for learning, so there's no ads and no fluff, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can learn all the things, learn all the things. And because they're so awesome, the first 1,000 of you to click the link below in my description can get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can learn whatever you want to learn, So you can go out there and explore that creativity that's just sitting in your brain. So again, link is below for the first 1,000 of you to get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And let's get back to the video. This looks different for me depending on how I'm editing. Sometimes I am not editing the video. Sometimes I'm passing it off to my team who is editing it for me. Sometimes I do edit the video. It just depends. So for instance, for this one that I'm filming right now, it has a sponsor spot in it. And this particular sponsor wants us to upload the video and wants to approve the video prior to it going live. And so we need a little bit more lead time between when I film and when it's going to go live. And the team member who edits my videos is on vacation this week. So this particular video, I will be editing myself. And honestly, I think it's better to talk about the editing step from that perspective anyway, because most of you are likely editing your own videos. Before I got my M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch situation, okay, which I'm loving, by the way, but before I got that, I was editing everything on my iMac. And my iMac is completely upgraded. It is the most upgraded hard drive and RAM and whatever else I could get at the time. And it still has a hard time handling my 4K footage. So for me, editing kind of comes in steps. Now that I have the M1 Max MacBook Pro, I can remove a few of these steps because I don't have to edit with proxies as much as I do on this computer. But it looks a little something like this. Once I get done filming, I will actually go ahead and take the footage and transfer it to my external hard drive or wherever I'm going to put it on my computer. So if it's going to be just from the SD card, we're pulling it from the SD card or whatever, I'll go ahead and do that, okay? Then, because I've been using proxy files to edit, I will go ahead and open up Final Cut Pro the night before I'm going to edit, or at least a few hours before I'm gonna edit, and I will go ahead and be letting it import the footage, but also create the proxies for it. So if you ever worked with proxy files, and you probably haven't if you're not using massive 4K footage, but if you've ever worked with proxy files, they do take a long time to kind of render and get ready. So I will go ahead and have that processing before I'm ready to edit. So for instance, these videos I'm filming today, I'm actually filming 3 videos for y'all today. I likely won't get to the point where I'm ready to edit any of them today, but I do have tomorrow blocked off to edit these. So if I was going to edit these on my iMac, I'm not going to. I'm going to try out my new MacBook Pro because I actually haven't even edited on it yet. That's going to be a video. I'm going to go ahead and pull the footage today and make sure it's where I need it to be, whether that's on my desktop or on my LaCie hard drive or on my SD, put it wherever it needs to be. That's not the point. I'm going to go ahead and do all of that today so that when I'm ready to sit down tomorrow, I can go ahead and edit. I don't have to wait on anything to happen. So if I need to make proxies, they're made, blah, blah, blah. So editing, I just edit. And it really depends on the software you're using. For me, I use Final Cut Pro now. I was using Premiere Pro. But I sit down, I edit. That usually takes a while. I will say that for me, editing a video usually takes about double or triple the amount of the length of the raw footage for me. So if I pull in 30 minutes of raw footage, it's probably going to take me an hour and a half to 2 hours probably to edit that footage. But I just edit. That's pretty well the extent of phase 4 is to edit. All right. Step number 5 is kind of the last one, but kind of not. So just to hang with me, okay? And that is to upload and optimize the video. So once the video is exported, I've edited it, I need to go ahead and upload it to YouTube. So I go ahead and I upload it, and as it's uploading, I will go ahead and optimize everything. I'll put in the right title, the one I decided on back in step 2. I will put in any links that need to go in the description. I will put in tags, go through all the steps of like, yes, I am good to have advertisements on my thing. Okay, here's this stuff, right? I will go through all of the kind of the end screens and the cards and do all of that. And because I have amazingly fast internet, usually by the time I've gone through all the steps that YouTube gives me, it's already uploaded, but it still has to process. And until it processes, I can't do a couple of things. Like I can't put in the ad spots or, submit the rating or any of that stuff. So while it's doing that, once I've done like the basics that are kind of the same for every video, I will then, as it's uploading, I will then make my thumbnail, which is kind of step 6, okay? So I said there were 6 steps. Making the thumbnail is the 6th step, but I do it during step 5, if that makes sense. So I already created the thumbnail during the filming process. So I have these photos that are, possibilities for my thumbnail. And what I really like to do is pull the photos into Lightroom on my phone to add the right preset to the photo. I use a similar one on all my photos that are going up on YouTube. I will add the right preset to the photos, and then I will decide which one I want to use and do any kind of necessary editing or adding text or whatever to it. So I'll either pull it into Canva or Photoshop. Sometimes I even pull it into Procreate on my iPad if I want to like draw lines around things, or I just don't want to open Photoshop. So it kind of depends on what's going on with that thumbnail. If there's no text or anything, that's it. I just add a preset to it in Lightroom, and that's the end of it. If there's going to be text on it, but it's simple text, it's nothing I need to get super creative for, I use Canva because it's easier and it's quicker. If I need a little more robust things going on the thumbnail, I'm going to use Photoshop or Procreate to make that happen. And I say both of those because it really doesn't matter. It kind of just depends on the day for me on what I want to use. But I get the thumbnail ready as the video is finishing processing, and then once it's finished processing, I'm usually done with the thumbnail. I will upload the thumbnail, finish out all of the uploading settings on YouTube, and I will schedule it to go live on the date it's supposed to go live. And that's it. That's how it goes from idea to filmed to thumbnailed to whatever and up on the tubes. That's the extent of it. There are a lot of steps, and that's one of the reasons I want to do this video, because it's there's a ton of steps. There are so many steps when it comes to putting a YouTube video out, and a lot of the steps are so hard to pass off to people. So for instance, with my podcast, all I do for my podcast is I record it. I sit in front of my microphone and I record that podcast. That is it. Literally it. And then I give the audio file to my team, and they take it from there. They put in all ad spots, they edit it, they upload it, they schedule it. But YouTube is a little bit different, because if I'm uploading it, I might as well go ahead and do all of the steps beyond that. Or if, I have to film it, I have to be the one who creates the idea. A lot of times we're the editors too. So it really is a pretty intense process, and one you have to really learn to streamline to make sure that you don't go crazy. So going into the next phase of Jessica as a YouTuber, there's going to be 2 videos a week here on this channel, but I'm also going to try and revive my vlog channel as well. And vlogging is a little different. You kind of get clips as you go. You kind of have an idea of what's going on. You kind of don't. And the editing is a little different. The uploading is a little different. The thumbnails are a little different. But it's really the same process for me, whether I'm filming a vlog or one of these sit-down talking head videos. But with 3 a week, I have to have help for that. I have other elements of my business that have to run. And if I don't have help with editing, at the very least, I will go crazy. So I guess my point is there's a lot that goes into this. So take it as you can. Like, don't try and do too much, and really streamline your process before you add another video or before you add another thing to, the sequence. Hopefully this was really helpful. Hopefully this gave you like a good little sneaky peeky into what it looks like to get a video from Noggin to YouTube. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. And thank you so much to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Remember, if you want to try out Skillshare, you can click the link below in my description to do that. And bye, y'all.